To support the author, subscribe to the channel and watch the video to the end. Enjoy listening. Lisa was sitting on the couch, staring at the TV screen. There was silence all around, broken only by the sounds coming from the kitchen, where dinner was being prepared. She tried to distract herself, but thoughts of her husband, Igor, would not leave her. Over the past few months, he had been working late more and more often, and when he returned home, he looked tired and tense. Lisa couldn't get rid of the feeling of anxiety that gripped her. Every night she waited for him to come, and with each new delay, her heart sank with fear. That evening, when Lisa decided to check his phone, her heart began to beat faster. She saw incomprehensible messages in the messages, which caused her concern. Lisa didn't know what to think, but the decision came naturally. She decided that she had to find out the truth. The next day, after work, Lisa went to a cafe where she hoped she could meet Igor. Her heart was pounding in her chest as she stepped inside, and her fears came true. At one of the tables, she saw
Igor with a leggy, pregnant blonde. They were sitting too close to each other, laughing and discussing something. Lisa felt her insides tighten. She couldn't believe her eyes.
All her assumptions were confirmed in an instant. Anger and sadness overwhelmed her, and without hesitation, she left the cafe. How could she have mistaken a man she trusted? How could she not notice that he was cheating on her? Lisa felt tears welling up in her eyes, and going outside, got into the car. Her world had collapsed, and she didn't know what to do next. When Igor returned home, he was in high spirits, unaware of what awaited him. Lisa was already sitting on the couch. Her face was calm, but there was a storm of emotions in her eyes. "Hi," Igor said, taking off his jacket and heading for the kitchen. "How was your day?" "Hi," Lisa replied, trying to keep her voice level. "I have a question." Igor stopped, sensing that something was wrong. "What kind of question?" "What is it?" he asked, turning around. "Have you been to the cafe today?" Lisa said, carefully watching his reaction. Igor's face instantly changed. "Yes," he started, but Lisa interrupted him. "With a leggy blonde?" Her voice was cold. Igor froze. He hadn't expected such a question. Confusion flashed in his eyes. "Lisa, it's not what you think," he said, trying to find the words. "Not the way I think it is?" Lisa interrupted him, her voice trembling with anger. "You're sitting here with another woman who, as I see it, is expecting a baby." The blonde blushed, her eyes filled with fear. Igor tried to explain himself, but Lisa wasn't going to listen to him. She felt anger flare up inside her. "You cheated on me, Igor," she said, and her voice sounded like she was screaming from the depths of her soul. "I trusted you." Igor, realizing that he would not be able to justify himself, looked at Lisa with despair. "Lisa, please listen to me," he said, his voice becoming softer. "It's not what you think." "Not the way I think it is?" she repeated, her voice getting louder. You're sitting here with another woman, and you're saying that's not true." At that moment, Lisa noticed how the blonde got up and walked away, clearly frightened by the situation. She didn't want to be a part of this conflict. Lisa felt her anger turn to bitterness. She turned to Igor, her heart clenching with pain. "You ruined my life," she said, and her voice became quiet. "I can't believe you did this to me." Igor reached for her, but Lisa pulled away. She couldn't afford to be vulnerable in front of him. "I need time," she said, trying to remain calm. "I can't just forgive and forget everything." "I'll be waiting," Igor said, and there was sincerity in his voice. There was a real struggle going on inside Lisa. She understood that he could change his life, but would she be able to trust him again? Igor was a part of her life, and she couldn't just forget about what had happened. The next day, Lisa decided that she needed to talk to her friend. She met with Katya and told her everything. Her friend listened to her and finally said, "You're strong, Lisa. You deserve better." These words were a real comfort to Lisa. She understood that she had to be strong and not let Igor ruin her life. Over the next few days, Lisa began to think about how to build her life further. She couldn't forget about the betrayal, but at the same time she knew she had to move forward. She decided that she would not leave things as they were. She needed to talk to Igor and find out what he was going to do. When Igor came home again, Lisa was ready to talk. "Igor," she said when he entered, "let's talk about what happened." Igor, noticing her serious tone, sat down next to her. "Okay," he said. "I'm ready." Lisa gathered all her thoughts and began to speak. "I do not know if I can trust you again," she said, looking into his eyes. "But I want to know what you're going to do next." "I want to work on myself," Igor replied. "I understand that I was wrong, and I am ready to do anything to regain your trust." Lisa felt a spark of hope ignite inside her again. "It's going to be a long way," she said, "but I'm willing to try if you are too." Igor nodded, and she saw the sincerity in his eyes. "I love you, Lisa," he said, and at that moment a new bond formed between them. From that day on, they began to work on restoring their relationship. Every day they openly talked about their feelings, tried to be honest with each other. Lisa understood that it would be a long and difficult path, but she was ready to follow it. A few months have passed, and their relationship has become stronger. Lisa noticed that Igor was really trying. He became more attentive and caring, and this helped her gradually open up. One day, when they were sitting on the couch together and watching a movie, Lisa decided to talk about her feelings. "Igor," she began, her voice low, "I really need to know that you understand how much you've hurt me." Igor looked at her with understanding. "I know I hurt you," he said. "I can't change the past, but I want to do everything to return your love." Lisa felt tears welling up in her eyes. She wanted to believe him, but the fear of being alone wouldn't leave her again. "I just want to be a part of your life," she said, her voice softer. "I can't handle this if you don't tell me what's going on." Igor looked at her with tenderness. "I promise I'll be open with you," he said. "Let's talk about it. I don't want our relationship to falter again." Maria felt her heart fill with hope. She knew it might be a chance to recover, but would it be a change for the better? She couldn't afford to suffer again. Over time, Lisa began to notice that Igor was really trying to open up to her more. He began to share his thoughts and experiences, and this helped strengthen their bond. They overcame difficulties together, and Lisa felt that their love was beginning to flare up again. One day when they were walking in the park, Igor took her hand and looked into her eyes. "Lisa, I want you to know that I am ready to do anything to return your love," he said, his voice full of tenderness. She looked into his eyes and saw desire and hope there. "I want to try it, too," she replied, and her heart was filled with warmth. From that moment on, their relationship began to occupy a new stage. They worked on themselves and opened their feelings, fears, and hopes to each other. Every day they became closer, and Lisa felt that her life was filling with meaning. Lisa soon realized that she was ready to trust Igor again. She decided that she would not be afraid of the past, but instead focus on the future. Their love became stronger, and they began to make plans for a life together. One day when they were sitting together, Igor looked at Lisa and said, "I want to make you an offer." Lisa froze, her heart beating faster. She couldn't believe her ears. "Are you serious? What is it?" she asked, surprise appearing in her eyes. Igor nodded, and she saw the sincerity in his eyes. "I want to spend my whole life with you. You are my love, and I cannot imagine my life without you." Lisa felt tears of happiness welling up in her eyes. She knew that this was the moment she had been waiting for. "Yes, yes, yes," she exclaimed, and her heart was filled with joy. Igor took out a ring and put it on her finger. They hugged, and at that moment Lisa realized that their love had become stronger than ever. From that day on, they began a new chapter of their lives, full of hope and love. Lisa knew that despite all the trials, they were able to overcome the difficulties and find each other again. Now they were ready to go through life together, not looking back at the past, but looking to the future.